Hello and welcome to another edition of Droppin Baums with me, your host, Corey Baumeister, as always with the lovely people here at TCGplayer.com. So today we got a deck that I thoroughly enjoyed. I was going to do this last weekend since it was right after GPLA, in which I played this 74, correction. I did change a card that I didn't like. I'll get to that later. But this deck, I ended up taking 25th at X2 and 2. Two draws on day 2 late in the day, which were unfortunate, but you know, that's the struggles with the control deck sometimes. Sometimes you just don't have enough time to finish. But I think the deck is phenomenal. I think it has a great red-black matchup, which is one of the biggest deals. Overall, I think it is a great choice moving forward to, let's say, Richmond this weekend, or the last of, I think that might be the last standard event. Maybe GP New Jersey, I believe, is still within this rotation before Ravnica comes out, and we lose a lot of powerhouse cards like Gearhulk. Run you through the deck, pretty standard. Me and my friend Luis Salvato decided and finalized on this list together, so I can't take complete credit on this. Super smart, super nice player. Really helped us really get to this combination of cards, and I was very happy about it. 4 Fatal Push, 2 Cast Down. 2 Cast Down is a little bit higher than most people play. I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of it, but we didn't want to lose to Steel Leaf Champion. So we added a second one and just made the creature matchups a little better. 1 Search, 1 Miser Negate here, 3 Essence Scatter. I think Essence Scatter is at a great place right now. A lot of creature decks have been popping up. And then we kind of beat the non-creature decks already, so 1 Forsake. This card does a lot against Scroungers, any of the Gearhulks, Search for Ascanthus. This card is just, I'm a believer. This card is very good. I was looking for a room for 2, but you can't really have 2 of this such narrow effect. Actually, what am I talking about? I have 2 Infernal Reckonings in the sideboard, but this may be a narrow effect, but it's so powerful that I think it is worth it. Your bread and butter here, 4 Glimmer, 4 Contempt, 3 Teferi, 4 Gearhulk. That's how you win the game. These are your powerhouse spells. Has historically been a great plan, and sometimes you just need a hero of Dominaria, and this deck utilizes it to the max in my opinion. 4 Glint Sleeve Siphoner. I've seen some lists play 1, some 2, maybe 3 if they're feeling crazy. I think this is your best card in Control Mirrors. I think it's your best card against Blue-White Approach. I think it's your best card against Turbo Fog. I think it's your best card against Blue-Black. I think it should be 4. Maybe that's just coming from somebody who, I would say this is my pet card. It's been good to me. I love it. I think it's so good. And I really think 4 is the correct number, even though a lot of people disagree with me on that. 2 Jace's Defeat, 3 Negate for the control matchups. A Vizier for mono green when you just need to play the 5/3 horse, I'm forgetting, Vinemare, to block their Vinemare, or to play a Carnage Tyrant, copy a Carnage Tyrant. 2 Infernal Reckonings for red-black specifically. Other artifacts decks you could probably find. 1 Yahenni's Expertise, which I wasn't super impressed with over the weekend, but does do some nice work against hyper-aggressive decks, good against Snake. 1 Duress for control. We got a Walking Ballista, which is just great in a lot of matchups. We did play 2 at the Grand Prix, but I did change, and we played 3 Siphoners because I got talked into it. I'm holding strong next time. I'm playing 4. But I moved it around. Although Ballista was good, I still think 1 is correct. Detection Tower is a phenomenal card at dealing with those tricky spells. Only activated it and made use of it once, but it was still great. And then Chromium, the Mutable. This card is phenomenal. It breaks control mirrors wide open and just is an absolute treat to play with. All right, so stay tuned, and we'll see if we can control some people's days. Stick around. All right, and welcome to the games. All right, some Esper control action. I would like to go first. This hand is 1 blue source away from being good. It's definitely not a mulligan by any means. It's not something we're jumping up and down for, but we're definitely going to keep. All right, we're going to lead with the farmlands, of course. Pretty obvious there. Pass it back. All right, here we go. Mono red. Or red variant, of course. This is a matchup that theoretically is supposed to be good, you know, but of course the deck is so strong that it can easily beat you. Sometimes easily. Like, it's supposed to be a good matchup, but they really can defeat you very easily sometimes. So if we top deck a blue source here and we can interact on 2, 3, and 4 though, like, we're sitting pretty good. Or if our opponent doesn't play a creature, that helps. Okay, we had it. Had it the whole time. Okay, so now I feel like we're in quite a good position right now. Bomat, of course, is the worst card for this deck. You know, I mean, that's why we have 2 Infernal Reckoning in the board, because Scrounger is very bad, and Bomat is just as bad, and it deals with both of them, with some upside. Alright, 17. Alright, we are going to scatter that. I like being mana efficient here, but if our opponent goes Chandra next turn, I want to have Disallow available. Okay, so we can't Contempt, and Field of Ruin is quite dead against mono red. It's okay against red-black, because sometimes it can do something, but most of the time it's just a dead card. So we actually side out Field of Ruins in this matchup. On the play, I still want 27 lands, but on the draw, I side it out. Now, this is a toughie because we really do want lands, but Pia is very good. Yeah, this is a toughie. So we really, if we can go land, Contempt next turn, and then Gearhulk Contempt, like, that's a winning recipe. But if we just Disallow now, and then don't draw land and just say go, and then Glimmer then, it's still okay. Pia can really be problematic here. I think we're going to Disallow here. The upside of drawing a untapped black source is just too high, where we kill this and can kill the next threat. We just really want to get to 6 land here. Not terrible. That's not a bad draw. So now, no matter what, we're going to be glimmering, but you want to have the illusion that we have something to interact with, so you don't do it right away, of course. Now, something like a Glory Bringer would actually be okay. Hezzeret's fine, too, actually. That's actually much better than Glory Bringer. That doesn't threaten us for quite a while. This Bomat is the threatening aspect, though. Alright, we're going to Glimmer here. For sure looking for 1 land. And then just... Ooh. Teferi, eh? Teferi's good. Teferi's very good. I think at this point we want both of these. We're not going to play Teferi next turn. Because we can only untap with 3 mana. But I am going to keep both. Okay, another Gearhulk here is pretty good. Now, if we get a land going to Teferi, untap, Contempt, that's very good as well. And now we have Gearhulk and a counterspell available. Okay, discarding. Would have to discard 1 more time. Oh, I was like... Yes, please. We're gonna let this resolve. I'm just deciding what to do here. I think we're gonna try to Contempt. Our opponent doesn't have black mana, so actually countering this is pretty good right now. Yeah, we're going to just Essence Scatter this. Get a body out here. More than likely our opponent's going to find that land with Bomat, but for now we'll just Essence Scatter. Not 100% that this was the right play. Esper has a lot of situations where it's not cut and dry what's correct. You know, you just got to kind of play to your best ability here. And I think this is another situation where I'm just going to soak up the damage. I don't really want my opponent to draw 6 cards right now. Maybe our opponent will play a little loose and let us disallow with Gearhulk. Now I can Teferi, Tick Up, and Contempt. Or I can hold Gearhulk and hope that our opponent goes for Bomat at end step and we disallow it. Yeah, I think we're going to have one more Gearhulk turn here. Nope, our opponent is playing well. Well, I guess we can just block Bomat and disallow the trigger. That's probably going to be what's up. What does our opponent have? A Lightning Strike, maybe? Yeah, we're gonna take the extra damage here and make sure to get rid of this Bomat. It's just too important. Probably a Lightning Strike to the face. Yep. So that is putting us down to 4, but then we're in complete and utter control of this game. Then we get to really just do some damage next turn. I think our opponent waited a little too long with that Bomat, in my opinion. There was a turn when we tapped out for Gearhulk to Essence Scatter. I would have done it right then. Alright, disallow that. Now we got 2 Gearhulks. We're going to have a Teferi and Vraska's Contempt. Is that good? High score? Did we break it? Okay, so this, white, blue, Teferi, draw a card. Now, can we lose to any draw if we go to 6 life? Even a Hezeret wouldn't kill us. No, we couldn't lose to anything, so we're just going to close this game out next turn. We're going to Contempt during our end step or, you know, whenever, just before our opponent has a chance to activate, because then we could lose. But if we do it now and gain the life, we just can't lose. Okay. Should be the scoop 'em up. The Chain Father. Okay, dead on board, but he'll make us do it. Yeah, we'll just do it. That's the on board, I suppose, huh? Next game. All right. Yeah, Bomat can be tricky, but if you can put your opponent into the position where they have to sacrifice it, that's where you can gain an advantage. Okay, so we don't sideboard a lot against red-black, okay? You really can't. But Negate and Search for his Canta are bad. And Cast Down is not great as well, but Inferno Reckoning is awesome. And I also don't like the Field of Ruin on the draw. On the draw, like, you just can't hit much. 26 land is fine on the draw. Yeah, I really like all this here, I believe. Yep, this is what I like. Okay. All the removal, all the ways to interact. Just, you got to stop Chandra's, so you got to keep Syncopates and Disallows in, play or draw. Yep, we got 2 very good early pieces of interaction here. This hand is fine. Anytime my opponent plays a Scrounger, I'm just like, yes, yes. Okay, ooh, that's tempting. Yeah, we're going to play the tap land here, because we really don't want to Fatal Push that anyways right away. Like, it's not our main concern. We just want to have access to all our elements here. And the only thing that's wrong with this hand is we do have a little bit of a weakness to Chandra here, which many hands do because the card is just so good. Now we're faced with a dilemma. Most of the time, you can just take the damage, which we're going to do here. We have the choice between Fatal Pushing, but then if our opponent plays like a Chain Whirler, then we're forced to use like a Contempt on that. But this way, we can just take an extra 3 damage and then Fatal Push it at end step if our opponent plays nothing, or we could Essence Scatter the play and then Fatal Push during my turn. But our opponent played nothing, missed a land, so we'll do that. Alright, now we're going to play an island to represent Disallow. Very unlikely to be that big of a deal, but... Okay. We'll take one. Our opponent is online for everything now. A duress or something would be pretty bad for us. Chain Whirler, not so bad. We got the answer for that. Okay, now we will have access to everything. Now we're not afraid of anything next turn. Would obviously love to Glimmer, so my goal is to my opponent to play something that's not so high impact that I can just Glimmer and weigh my options. Something like a Scrounger is what I want, because I'm not gonna. I can Reckoning it later, but I could still Glimmer. But something like a Chandra that should have been cast pre-combat for prowess has to be dealt with. But there is a world where I can contempt this to be mana efficient. I'm giving my opponent 2 free mana if they do have a 2-drop. I think I'm okay with that. It would be taking 2 extra damage as well. We'll just Disallow. It's a close one. Okay, another Reckoning. So now we're looking for Bowmats and Scroungers. We want some targets. That's one colorless. We like that. Crasher. Crasher presents some real damage here, so this it's not great. Now we're getting into like Hezeret territory where, you know, it gets scary to contempt these kind of things when we have bigger stuff in the wakes that could be a little bit more threatening towards us. But you also can't get in a position where they can nickel and dime you. So in this position, I think we contempt. There's always more Gearhulks in the deck. But for now, we just soak up damage since we're getting somewhat low. We're going to play this since we want to hit our 6th land. And now we can look for just Gasoline with Glimmer. We don't have to get a 6th land as well as a good card. And we're really looking for targets here. Hezeret will have to resolve. Now we'll be looking for Gearhulks. Can't attack this turn, so that's great. But now we need to find an answer. And this is what I was talking about and what I was afraid of. But, you know, if Crasher just hit us twice here, we would not gain 2 life. We would have taken 6 extra damage, so we would have taken 8 extra damage. We'd be at 5. Okay, so, like, that's not a winning position either, so... Okay, that's a winning position. Ooh, I think I want both. Maybe not Syncopate. Yeah, Syncopate's close. We'll keep it. Okay, now we have Reckoning available as well. We'll let him untap. We're at high enough life that we're okay with our opponent just pitching spells. The Chain Whirler. Yeah, don't think that's that big of a deal right now. Scrounger, yes! Now we can get both if he would have attacked, but does not. So we are going to Reckoning this. And we are going to Gearhulk and Contempt. There's a world where we Glimmer here and look for more answers, but yeah, Hazeret's just too much of a threat. Now what we're looking for is a Teferi to close this game out. Our opponent rightfully didn't attack with Soulscar Mage as well. Okay, that's good. Now we just sit back on defense. No reason to get aggressive. We'll just protect this and hope it wins us the game. Our opponent only has one card. Fight with fire. With prowess, this would put it to still alive, but we don't want that, so we're going to syncopate it. Unless our opponent plays 4. Our opponent has no cards in hand. And we got a anti-Hezeret card at least. Oh, we need a hero. We need a hero of Dominaria. He's got to draw cards, and he's got to untap lands, and he's got to be able to tuck stuff away. Now, once again, we are going to protect this. So we will untap these to represent everything. Even though we don't have a great answer. Like, Unlicensed Disintegration right now is very bad for us. Chandra's not good either. Huh. Yep, that was a good draw. Deals 4. Yep, now we have to chump block. Well, yeah, if our opponent... Okay, attacks. Now we get to decide, do we want to trade Planeswalker for Planeswalker? Or get rid of the Gearhulk? This is a very tough decision. Because now we're all of a sudden behind, regardless of what we do, I think. But we really want that Chandra dead. And we really want to keep our Teferi, so it's a tough catch-22 here. I honestly don't know the correct play. This is so close. Well, if we just block Chain Whirler, Teferi goes down to 3, it'll tick back up to 4, and then our opponent has 4. So we have 2 draw steps to prevent this from killing Teferi, or we lose it all. So I think in this situation, we got to let Teferi go. Just so we can deal with Chandra, because if we don't draw any removal, we did draw it. So in hindsight, I think it would have been better. But I think that Gearhulk is probably likely to win us the game anyways. So I think that play protects us from the worst case scenario a lot better. Because if we just draw land, then we lose Teferi and Gearhulk, and our opponent keeps a Chandra. You know, that's just too much. Now with our opponent attacking here, we're going to go for a Glimmer here. Glimmer and block. Alright. Yes, I would like to cast this. I like those cards. Right here, it's just all... We're just going for gas. Anything that does stuff. Okay, it looks like our opponent is likely drew a land. So this game's locked up. Now we'll just attack a couple times. 3 to be exact. Nope, 4. Math is hard. And this game should be over. And you always got to be aware of your clock, too. Oh, I guess that was match. Okay. For some reason, I thought that was game 1. Okay, we'll stay tuned for round 2. We'll see if we can do it again. And we're back for round 2. All right, we're lucky enough to get the die roll again. It's huge, because Esper Control is one deck that it can play from behind, but if your opponent has their nut draw or their best draw against you, and they're, let's say, mono green Stompy or green blue Stompy, or even like mono red, there's draws where no matter, we could have our best draw and they have their best draw, but they're on the play and we cannot win. You know, that is one reason why I have never been quote unquote a control player. I really don't like that vulnerability and that aspect. Like I'll talk to Guillaume Matignon every once in a while, or I'll ask, you know, like, you're a control player, you play it all the time, like, what do you do if they just have this draw? You know, you know, you lose. You know, like, I hate that feeling. I always want to have a chance in every game of Magic I play, but this deck's power level, and I think how well it was positioned for the last GPLA, and how powerful I still think it is to this day, I think is enough of a reason to keep going with it. But this hand on the play, once again, great, phenomenal. All right, we're going to start with the tap land. There is reason when you have 4 to 5 lands to think about not playing tap lands and just hoping to cycle here. But you look at the problem we're faced with. We'd have to play Glacial Fortress first, and then Swamp, and then Chapel. But if we draw another Glacial Fortress, it's a tap land. So I almost always play one of these as your first land, unless, like, we're on the play, we have a 5-lander, we have a swamp and an island, so everything's already going to be untapped. Then I'll think about it, and I do keep those hands quite a bit. On the play, 5 lands, 2 good spells. Like, control, you want to be land heavy sometimes, just because you can draw out of it pretty well. Okay, so, Search for Azcanta, not going to do anything for a while, but unlikely. If this was an Essence Scatter, we would probably not play Search for Azcanta right now, but since this is a reactive spell, I guess Essence Scatter is as well, but this is a spell we can play and react after something resolves, that we keep it. Okay, mono red wizards or hyper aggressive. This is our worst matchup. I will not sugarcoat it. This is bad. If we win, I feel like we should consider ourselves lucky. Okay, that's bad. We're just going to play this, and more than likely just cast down this. All you want to be doing is just, you know, cushioning your life total. There could be a world where our opponent plays Chain Whirler, and we would rather kill that. But I think we're just going to have to draw ways to deal with that as well. We just want to fill up our graveyard, kill everything, get to Gearhulk, where hopefully draw Contempt within the next 2 turns, and that'd be ideal. Contempt off the top, please. Boom. No, that's okay. Still a way to interact, so that's good. Play a Black Source so we can represent here. We're sitting okay so far. We definitely still need Contempt at some point. Alright, that's not a good card for us, because disallowing that does not leave us in a great spot. But if we disallow... Actually, yeah, this is what we want to be doing, because if we disallow this now, 2 turns later, we can Gearhulk and disallow the ability, and then our opponent time walks. It's not great, but I think we can't be afforded to be taking 5 damage a turn. More than likely, there's going to be a follow-up play anyways, but you just have to point all your spells at spells in this matchup. You can't be waiting for the perfect time to counter a spell. This deck, everything's bad. I would have rather countered that, I guess, but it's both bad. Contempt. Contempt. Bad luck. Well, we can cycle that. Anything we would want to play during our turn? No, not really, so we'll cycle during theirs. This does give us a flip next turn to maybe claw back in, but I think we need to cycle into a removal spell. Or a counter spell for whatever this is. Yeah, we need a counter spell or a removal spell, more than likely. Forsake. That's not either. Yep. Now we're going to have to cycle into a Fatal Push to only take 6. To only lose half our life total. Okay. Cycle. Yeah, Forsake is quite bad. Yep. We are going to take 8. And now we can Gearhulk cast down next turn. Not great. Glimmer. Yeah, we can't really have a Glimmer. To Fairy. Yep, we just have to Gearhulk and hope it's enough, which I highly doubt. Yeah, our opponent can have a land, any burn spell. yeah, we're toast. I'm trying to think of any 3 combinations of cards it could be that we live, and I really can't think of any. So we're going to cast Gearhulk and then immediately lose the game, more than likely. But you got to try. We will get a cast down. And this all has to work, otherwise we die anyways. So I guess he could have a Braid and then we're still dead. Yeah, it all just has to work. So we'll kill this, block Crasher. Hope our opponent has 3 Chain Whirlers in hand. I don't know. Could have just killed us with Earthshaker. Well, our opponent's giving us a chance to win when he would have just won with Earthshaker, and we might actually dig our way back in. So he draws 2. So we could Contempt and have Syncopate for 2, which Syncopate for 2 is probably not going to do anything. Or we could Teferi, tick up, and then Contempt, which might have a chance of doing something. Yeah, Teferi, tick up, Contempt does stop us from losing to this. Yeah, we'll try it. If we win this game, I would be very surprised. Could also put Flame of Kill back. No, because then we're dead on board. Essence Scatter is quite bad. Only hope is our opponent just draws 2 lands and goes for Earthshaker. Yeah, we can't beat a Shock anyways, so there's no point in contempting early, because even if we contempt, Shock would still kill us. Well, I guess we contempt now. Or I could scatter that. Nope, have to just contempt this. And then more than likely die with this on the stack. Yep, okay. Move on to the sideboard games, which don't get that much better. I went X2 and 2 with this deck at the Grand Prix, and one of my losses was to this deck. And it was a very convincing loss. I lost very quickly. I made the choice to play 2 of these instead of 1 and Essence Extraction for 2 reasons. One, I think I was going to play against more red-black, so I thought Infernal Reckoning is much better than Essence Extraction. And 2, I actually misread my deck, and I wanted to play 1 and 1, but ended up playing this anyways, and I actually think it was better, but it was kind of a mistake. I'm going to bring in Walking Ballista. I think I bring in Duress against them. Yeah, that's about all we got. We're going to be on the play. Search for his Canta is bad. Negate is quite bad. So is Forsake. Yeah. That's what we're forced with here. It's a tough matchup. I will not sugarcoat it whatsoever. This is not an easy one to win. But we're going to try. Alright, we would like to play first. This hand's bad. Yep, we don't have blue. Yeah, we can't keep it. Yeah, this hand's much better. A white source and another land for Glimmer is probably good, so we are going to keep this. Alright, got our one piece of interaction here until, like, at least probably turn 5. We will probably shoot that down. We're not going to be playing anything next turn, so there's no point in doing it now. See if our opponent tries to play something that is a little more damage, or 2 Wizard's Lightnings or something. Earthshaker Kenra. Yeah, and here's the dilemma again. Do we want to hope to exile it and deal with this right away, or deal with what deals more damage? And I think the answer is deal with what deals more damage and deal with that problem when we come to it. Because bringing back the 4/4 isn't that bad. Like, it commits their whole turn, then we can really kind of blow them out with Gearhulk. Earthshaker Kenra is not as bad as it used to be in the past. Okay, another Fatal Push. So I really like our play last turn, because now we're probably just going to kill this. Okay. Looks like our opponent is trying to boost up. Well, another Earthshaker, and this is only 1 damage, but likely to be 2 coming up. I think we're going to get rid of the Lava Runner this time. Maybe not. Well, this isn't a wizard, so if our opponent just has Wizard's Lightning, they get to cast it cheaper, and it's the same power. So yeah, we'll get rid of this time. Go to 15, then we get to have a Glimmer turn. Okay, with a little bit of interaction as well. That's nice. We just need to be hitting land drops to play this on time, to keep up with our opponent's Earthshaker. So if we have to counter something this turn, we have to Glimmer during main phase if we don't get a land. Yep, this is something we're going to syncopate. So this does not go to the graveyard then. Or, yeah, it goes to exile, so this is the perfect answer. I guess a Contempt would be better, but I just wish I could have like 8 Contempts for this matchup. Okay, 13. And Flame of Killed. Okay, discards a Crasher. Disallow. Ooh, that's interesting. I could disallow the flame trigger to draw 2 cards. That could be good. Then that third ability is still probably going to do some damage. Oh, no real great play, but I think we are going to disallow it. Got to get a little lucky here, and our opponent not drawing 3 cards next turn is one way to do that. Because lands are bad, because it gets to Earthshaker, and spells are bad, so this disallow is kind of a 2-for-1. Oh, that's bad. That's so bad for us. We're just dead. We're just dead. I think we have to Glimmer for a land. I mean, we need land, but we also need like a Fatal Push. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll just say go. Maybe there'll be something we can disallow. Maybe we just disallow the draw again. Probably. It was right last turn. It's probably even more correct this turn. It doesn't feel good. That's for sure. So now this deals 4 for the next 2 turns. And a Wizard's Lightning, what, deals 5. Oh, alright, I guess that was the best possible. Field of Ruins. Well, play a land and hopefully Glimmer into a Fatal Push. We only have 2 left, or our opponent doesn't draw a land or a spell. Yeah, I don't know. We're in trouble. Okay, so now we have to get a Fatal Push. Oh, wait, this isn't red, though. So this doesn't deal extra damage, but this is still 8 damage. Yeah, this is still lethal, but Glimmer, have to find a push. Wrong 1-mana spell. Didn't hit it. Okay, well, stay tuned for the third game. We'll see if we can get the last one. And hopefully avoid this terrible matchup. All right, welcome to round 3. All right, lucky enough to win the die roll again. Let's see if we can capitalize and win our last match here. So we don't have a land that allows these to come into play tap, but this hand is still fine. We have early interaction for a turn 2 spell, plus we have 3 lands. Like, this is a easy keep. I played Drowned Catacombs first because access to Fatal Push in case we were to draw it. Blue-black is always better. White's only for the 1 Forsaken Teferi. So, okay. So that's a great draw. It is a great draw, but I still think I want to play Field of Ruins and Syncopate for 1 here. And then play this next turn. Hitting like a Scrounger or something here would be great. Or even a Karizev, you know, really anything. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, get that out of the way. Red-black aggro again. Okay, so now we're going to play this, so that we'll have 4 mana next turn. And if our opponent doesn't play something that can be Forsaken, like if our opponent plays another Scrounger, we'll keep Forsake around, but if not, we'll Forsake the Worldly. We'll Forsake it into our graveyard. All right, we're keeping it. All right. So now we got a lot of interaction and a Glimmer. So somehow, some way, we'd love to be able to Glimmer, but more than likely we got to deal with some stuff this turn. Now there is a world where we just Forsake this right now to prevent damage. Then our opponent could just go land Chandra. And I do kind of want to play something that costs 4 this turn. So we're going to let this one hit. I want to see what our opponent's playing first. I want to be able to have perfect information when I cast my spells. Karizev. That card's good. That card is good. I kind of like just Forsaking the Scrounger here. Or disallowing Karizev. Or Glimmer. The only thing I don't want to use my Contempt yet. There is a world for Glimmer here. I don't think it's correct. I think it's Forsake or Disallow. So our opponent hasn't played a land yet, but it's likely a tap land. And Scrounger and Karizev are the same amount of damage, but Forsake is such a narrow card that this is the one chance where it's good. Yeah, I'm going to let it resolve. Okay. Let's Forsake here. If we had a Fatal Push, this would be awesome, but we don't. Now we really want to draw land. No. Okay. We are going to just say go. Yep, we have to just let it, because Chandra right now is too bad for us. So I just can't I can't Contempt and then expect to draw a way to beat Chandra right now. So I just have to keep Chandra in check. A Chain Whirler. Now I kind of want to Contempt that Chain Whirler. Or disallow it. Yeah, maybe just a disallow here. Well, Contempt is more mana efficient. Our opponent likely has a Chandra that we want to deal with. But I think we would want to use our counter magic now. Okay. Another Glimmer is not great. Could Glimmer now to try to find lands, because if we go land, Teferi does only untap for 3. I think we might just have to contempt Karizev here. And just hope our opponent doesn't draw the land for Chandra. And have Chandra, of course, but maybe we also Glimmer to try to get land. Yeah, we're not in a great spot here by missing these many land drops. And we have to be dealing with our opponent's creatures very soon. It's probably just correct to contempt here. I don't like it, but then maybe we have the way cleared and draw a land for Teferi. Right, now we're at a comfortable life total. Oh, wow. We'll take that just to soak up the damage. Our opponent must be a little removal flooded. Now we really want to land. A Teferi. This is a great spot for a Teferi. Land. Ugh! That's alright. That's pretty good too. We're going to Glimmer now because we just need to hit our land drops. Yeah, I think we want both of these. Now at least if we draw a land, we have a way to deal with the Chandra if it comes into play. Alright, that's scary. Phoenix. Oh, that's not bad. Not too bad. Okay. Now, I think we just Teferi and put that Phoenix on top. We're going to just lose Teferi, but we don't really have an option right now, and we can't. And it's our extra one, so it's not that big of a deal. Get that Phoenix out of there. So the Phoenix, third from the top, so it's not the next draw, but the turn after. Get Teferi out of there. Maybe another one. A Hezret. That's okay. Okay, so now we're faced with the dilemma is, do we think our opponent can get down to one card? So drawing, let's say our opponent draws a land, plays a land, then has 2 cards to get rid of, would still need a 2-drop, but that could be done because it could be in a braid. 5, 6, 7, 8. We wouldn't technically be dead, so I think the play we want to do here is Teferi, negative on Hezret still, and then just Fatal Push. But then we're walking into a Chain Whirler. Yeah, maybe that's not correct then. I mean, it's just so unlikely that our opponent can attack next turn with this Hezret, so I'm not that afraid of it. But I also don't want to just throw away my Teferi. Yeah, because if our opponent goes Chain Whirler, I'd feel real silly. But it wouldn't be that bad, because then I could just Fatal Push the Chain Whirler. Yeah, alright. And our opponent was stuck on 3 for a while and didn't cast anything, so we'll just keep depriving our opponent of new resources. So our opponent is going to draw something next turn, and then Phoenix, and then Hezret. Now, if we can untap with this Teferi, I think the game is over. Alright. I think our opponent would play Chain Whirler first if they had it, because then our opponent's wasting an attack. So I think Teferi should live. Yep. Okay, so now our opponent's drawing Phoenix into Hezret. I'm going to draw a card and start going off. Okay. So, yeah, we could just shuffle away those cards. Those cards are good. Yeah, we're going to do that. Get rid of them. And then we have Gearhulk and Fatal Push mana open. or can obviously Glimmer still. Alright. At this point, we're just going to Fatal Push this. We have so many resources right now, we don't want to put our Gearhulk in harm's way. So we'll just do this. Okay. Yeah, our opponent must just have a lot of removal. We're not even going to play the Gearhulk right now. We're just going to Glimmer. Yeah, we'll keep them both. Fatal Push to just Time Walk again against Scrounger. And then the counter spell to pull ahead. Alright, so now we want to use our mana. Only thing to do with that is Glimmer during my turn. Negate, Disallow. 2 more counter spells. Why not? I'll take them. Alright. Now we're gonna Fatal Push one more time to Scrounger. Usually this is not the play you want to be doing because you're really eating your resources here. And you're kind of just spinning your wheels and not really killing anything. But when we're this far ahead, we have so many spare resources that we just don't really care. We're going to win. So we're going to Fatal Push, and then I have double Counterspell open. And eventually we just run our opponent out of creatures. They only have a couple more. Alright, we will negate that. Probably just a scoop, yep. Usually the last-ditch effort. Okay, red-black. These red cards are so much easier to beat than just mono red wizards, and you know, like which is very weird because mono red wizard has like less powerful spells, but it's just too fast for this deck. It's just too fast to deal with. All right, we're gonna do the same sideboard plan as we did against him earlier. You sideboard very minimally, but yeah, just the Infernal Reckonings and a Ballista for the Field of Ruins, the Negate, and the Search for Iskanta. These matchups are pretty easy, and they're actually, you know, they're pretty easy to sideboard, and they're actually pretty easy. You know, I went on defeat. No, I did lose. My other loss was to red-black, but I played it 6 times, I think, at the GP. And I lost to one very good player. I'm blanking on his name, but he is a very good player. Those were my only 2 actual losses, and then two unintentional draws, which were kind of a sting, but it was a good tournament overall. I had a blast. One of them was very close, and it was still anybody's game, but neither of us really wanted to concede to each other, even though we probably should have, since we both made top 32, and I think the loser would have top 32, so we kind of messed that up. And the other one I was going to lose, but it came to time, part of the game, you know? All right, so we are on the draw. This hand is very risky. Our opponent did mulligan. It's very risky here, though. If we don't get a couple black sources early, we are just toast. So I think we're going to mulligan this one. This hand is better. Keep. Ooh, our opponent is mulling to oblivion, unfortunately. Do not want that. And we'll see what we got. We don't have any early interaction, though, so a Bomat or something there would be still pretty scary. We're going to play the farmland since we have enough blue-black. At least we got this. This is going to be cycled next turn, almost for sure. Yep, now for sure. Since we already have 5 land, very likely to get another one for Gearhulk here. But even this sequence right now, turn 4 this, turn 6 that, is very powerful. Chain Whirler, nothing we can do. Cycle. Ugh. Well, we got enough lands. Let's stop that. I have no 1-drops that I can cast during my turn, so I'll still just cycle during my opponent's. But now something like a Chandra. I guess a Chandra isn't terrible because we do get to Contempt. So now I am going to cycle with this trigger on the stack because I can draw Fatal Push, or Inferno Reckoning to deal with the Bomat? Neither. Okay. Alright, now we're cooking. We're getting spells now. So we're gonna say go again. No, I'm not sure. I think I'm just gonna take this 4 and Contempt at end step if our opponent doesn't play anything. If not, I'm gonna Disallow and then Contempt right away. Probably the Bomat. The Bomat's more threatening right now than the Chain Whirler. Yeah, that's pretty threatening as well. So we're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to get rid of Bomat. Well, it's safe that we're going to gain the life. Unless we get a Reckoning or a Fatal Push. Nope. Yeah, I think it's just now. Because we can Contempt and block next turn. But yeah, this Bomat, 3 cards next turn is just too threatening. Now, something like a Chandra is very good. And that is going to warrant us to have to Gearhulk and Contempt right away. We're going to have to Contempt the Chandra. I would love to wait and be able to block, but we do not need our opponent getting any more free cards or free damage. So we'll get that out of there. And now if our opponent plays another Chandra, we can attack it. So this kind of answers a Chandra now and a future Chandra. Unless our opponent ticks up in a Braids. That would be not great. Yeah, now our opponent is faced with a weird decision where they have to leave Chain Whirler back anyways, but now when we attack, you know, they're forced to chump block. Or I could Glimmer to try to find an answer, but I think that's a little more risky. I think I would rather just have a Gearhulk as backup to counter my opponent's next spell. First, we're going to see if our opponent blocks. Okay. Now we for sure just go land go. I do want to play a land. I can see some world where you want to hold them both to cycle them, but Bomat. Okay, I think we're okay with that. Glory Bringer. Ooh, can't cast that. Huh. I almost want to just Gearhulk and disallow this ability. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And then try to block it. Disallow the being able to put a trigger under Bomat. Now just block it and then we'll kill Chandra next turn. Hopefully. Alright. So we're going to attack all at Chandra. Okay. Now, I think I want to Glimmer now. Because if I hit land that I don't necessarily want, I still want to be able to play it. Can't cast a fairy, so safe to tap the white source here. Blue-black is your main color. So unless you plan on actually casting it. Syncopate. That stops 4 draw. Yep, we're going to keep both of these. We're not going to play a land this turn. It's very unlikely that we're going to need more cards to win this game, but still no point in playing them. Yep, syncopate that. Get that out of there. Do it for 2 for value. Should be the game. Alright. Yep, that'll do it. That will do it. Okay, well, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate, always appreciate each and every one of you. Once again, leave your comments and concerns about the deck in the comments there below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed some Esper control action. Sorry we didn't play against anything that was non-mountain. But, you know, that's the name of the game here for a couple more months. If you're going into a standard event, you better know how to beat red-black and mono-red. And this deck, I think as you can notice, we pretty handily destroyed red-black. I think it's a good matchup. You know, this is the reason I played it at GPLA. I really thought we just smashed red-black. And it still has good matchup against Turbo Fog. It just has trouble against Wizard Red and other hyper-aggressive Flame of Killed Mono Reds, but beats Mono Green pretty handily. I never lost to that during the weekend. Overall, just great matchups. So thanks for stopping by. This is Corey for Droppin Bombs. Peace.